What's up, y'all? It's Lone Wolf. Eating my breakfast jack sausage sandwich. I don't know what it is, but it's probably like 1 in the morning. I just got done working. I decided to do a video. Today's video is a bounce off of the last one. What happens when you leave? Okay. So I decided to do this today. About what happens when you leave. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Anybody in general, a Jezebel, narcissist, whatever. What happens when you leave when you're from the light? The first thing I want to go all the way back to is Jesus' story, okay? What happened when Jesus left certain people? Well, there was a man that was basically like possessed, that was in a cemetery, that was living in a cemetery that had named lots, that had lots of entities in him, okay? He cast those entities out into 2,000 pigs, and they ran down into the water and drowned. What happened with that situation, okay? Everybody asked him to get out of there. They're like, man, you gotta go. Like, we just had 2,000 pigs just rush down and die. They did not see the miracle that he did for the man. They saw the loss to the livestock that happened. So they were not grateful for what he did. They didn't see it. They were blinded by this just happened and now this guy's fine, but they're like, well, we would have rather had the pigs. And it's like, whoa, you just valued human life over the pigs. That's what it seemed like, okay? Maybe I'm a little off. But what else happened with Jesus? Well, there were certain times when he performed miracles that he crossed Lake Galilee, and they followed him over there. They were trying to find him, okay? Need you to heal my daughter. I need this. I need that. So based upon Jesus' story, what can we find out about what happens when you leave? When you leave, not just like a narcissist empath. I see that all the time where it's like, what happens when I leave a narcissist? Well, they're going to hop off to another supply and hang on to them. But it ain't going to be the same. So they know that, okay? So what happens when I leave here? Well, the weird thing about this place is, okay, people were mad that I was even here, that I was building hedges and I was doing spiritual work. I stopped doing it for a while, and people got mad that I stopped doing it. And then once I leave here, people are probably going to get mad that I left. So people are going to get mad at you regardless if you leave or not. Will narcissists get mad at you if you're an empath and you left? Yeah. Because you're not a source of supply. So when you're from the light, people will target you and lash you and whip you for no reason. Like, they could be mad at you one day for this and then be mad for the opposite reason the next. So when you leave, should you expect people to be mad? Maybe. Okay? Some people are just glad you're gone. Like, thank you, I'm in the dark. And you're like, okay, like, if you build a hedge, like, I built a large hedge over about 3 years, and it's just now setting in for me. It's boom, boom, boom. I got a hedge the size of this city, bro. And people, while I was building it, I got whipped and lashed for no reason. Now I built a hedge. Everybody's mad about that too. So technically, people are probably going to want me to leave this town. Well, good, because I'm tired of being here, okay? I also don't look at it, okay? When you leave a situation, it's the circumstances that are happening around you that dictate, you know, what happens when I leave. Maybe that's none of your business, because if you think about Sodom and Gomorrah, okay, which is pretty much what I'm about to leave right here, is I'm getting out of Sodom and Gomorrah here, because this place is screwed. Is what do you do when you leave Sodom and Gomorrah? You don't look back, or you turn to stone. Don't look back. Just straight ahead, bro. Straight ahead, okay? It doesn't matter what will happen in the hearts of other people when you depart from somebody or somewhere. It doesn't matter. Is there something that occurs? I'm sure. But it's not relevant. Was Jesus angry that they asked him to leave after he healed a man named Lot? He probably wasn't mad. He was just like, okay, well, I just performed this miracle, but I'm only here for a certain amount of time. So y'all kind of made your decision here, so I gotta get out of here. Well, think about it with your situation, with my situation, okay? The person that I came here to help out, I did a whole lot for. I mean, my flesh was crucified off me by people here, bro. So I was already a righteous person, but I was still in my flesh with certain things. I'm like, well, what's going on? And I mean, I got hit with so much stuff here, it was insane, okay? I don't really care what people think about me when I leave. Why? You can slander my reputation and do everything you want. I still walk straight as an arrow. Okay? So, I'm not, as the empath that's leaving the narcissist, don't worry about what people say about you, and don't worry about how people feel with the emotions in their heart. What you need to be confident in is what God knows you did and how you walk. Once you're on the narrow path, you are really not going to care if anybody says anything bad about you, because it will full circle and hit them. Divine judgment. And it happens quick. It happens quick. It depends. If it happened to me, like they crucified my flesh off me, and basically I'm not the same person anymore here. Okay? I'm not. People try to avoid looking at that and try to avoid, because they know that your blood is all over this. Like, my blood's all over this, and my spiritual blood's all over this city, bro. I got swiped thousands of times here. I got curses, hexes. I had people hitting me with witchcraft. I had coffee cups that were cursed. I had things that people were hitting me with so much crap. It was insane, okay? So for me, well, here's the other thing. What happens when you leave? Well, maybe your feeling of how you feel about the place isn't relevant either, okay? Well, think about that. If you hold this as relevant of what you feel in here, maybe you're going to go to the next place with the same resentment here. That's where forgiveness comes in. So for me, do I forgive everybody here? I had to. So it was like, I forgive you. You death cursed me 8 times when you shook my hand, even though I took care of your daughter. So it took me a bit where I was like, I really don't like forgiving you. A lot of people struggle with that. But what does God say in the Bible? Well, if you forgive people, God will forgive you of your sins. So for me, I was walking straight as an arrow here. So I had a hard time where I was like, man, I'm walking straight. You know, why is everybody still doing this to me? Well, maybe there's a possession of the darkness where you're at when you build a hedge in just who you are and you're walking with Jesus. And things will hit you. But a lot of people will say, well, it's just a narcissist, isn't that? Well, think about this. That narcissist has a circle. In that circle, they'll try and bleed in your circle and say something bad about you to get you alienated from your people, to try and damage your reputation. I am positive that when I leave here, people will have nothing but bad things to say about me. That's what I believe. People will have nothing but bad things to say because they have demonic problems, bro. They have dark seeds in their mind, okay? So I don't think anybody's going to have anything. If people had good things to say about me when I left here, I'd be surprised, bro. Just based on my 37 years of experience in this place, I'd be surprised, okay? I don't think so. If I taught people lessons here, it was ones that were hard to swallow. Like, don't freely go and attack people just because he's in your town and he's not from here, so I can just attack the crap out of him and then try and... Everybody tried to bring my vibration low, so I'd do that. I ain't playing that. So yeah, you crucified my flesh off me. Brad, the old me, was crucified and murdered in this town. Spiritually. I am Wolf. I'm reborn in the spirit, walking with Jesus, okay? So I already believed in Jesus. I was already a righteous dude. Did I have some wickedness to me? Well, yeah. I had some wickedness to me. There were certain things about me that had to go. At the same time, you look at Revelation and you understand what's going on here. Are the people here going to walk straight as an arrow? Hopefully. But you look at Revelation, look how many people die, bro. The seals have already been opened here, scroll and everything, bro. What is the scroll, okay? What I wanted to talk about here. It says in Revelations, don't know the verse, gotta look it up, that the angel in the little scroll where you end up eating the scroll and it's sour on your stomach but sweet in your mouth. What does that mean? It means that your testimony of what done happened to you, it's sealed with seals. Those 4 horsemen, all that stuff, it gets released. So when you have to eat that, it's sour on your stomach because you're not happy with what happened to you. It's hard to stomach, but you can speak wisdom from what happened to you. Sour on your stomach, but sweet to your taste in your mouth. So I could speak tons of wisdom about it, but I got a sour feeling in my pit here. So I got a sour feeling about people here. I got a sour feeling about people for 37 years of my life that I was lied to, whipped, almost murdered. I had a whole bunch of stuff happen to me, bro. My whole career taken away. People slandered me. woman took me for child support off false numbers and false information, that if I would have known that, I would have been off doing something completely different, okay? Which, you know, that's a bad thing, but it could also be a good thing. But how does God view these type of things, okay? You have to stomach that sour scroll with the sweet taste. Look at how the bowls of anger and 144K, look at all these things, okay? You'll start to understand that not many people make it out. What does it mean? There's a verse in there that talks about, I think it's like something about, it takes to get one meal, it's like a day's wage of like barley or something. Like, I gotta look at the verse again. Let me look it up. This is Revelation 6, verse 5. A liter of wheat will cost you a whole day's wages. 3 liters of barley will cost you a day's wages too. But don't ruin the olive oil or the wine. All right? So what does that mean? Well, it's during the 3rd seal, which is the black horse has a rider that has a balance scale. Well, what does that mean? A liter of wheat will cost you a whole day's wages. To get an entire meal from the book, from the Bible, to stay alive, if you crucified somebody in a city or in a town, that you partook in that, in killing off who that person was, and they are reborn in the Spirit, like, if they were already voluntarily believing in Jesus and you just uncrucified the person's flesh off them and they are just walking in complete spirit, and it's basically like you just killed who they was. You have to read the Bible all day long just for one meal to stay alive. You are basically glued to the book. That is what God wants from you. You are glued to the book. You turn from your idols. You turn from your altars, whatever you're doing. You stop doing witchcraft and you are stuck in the Bible. That is your punishment. But it is also a blessing. People usually don't do that. Why? It talks about all this in here. How many people die, bro? The 4th seal was the pale green horse. Its rider's name was Death. Alright? They were given power over 1/4 of the earth, and they could kill its people with swords, famines, disease, and wild animals. What's wild about this is if you are in the Word and you are eating all day long, okay? Like you are trying to get, you're trying to build your hedge and trying to protect yourself. God will put his hand over you if you are obedient. That is your last chance. That is your last chance to walk with God. If you don't crucify somebody like that, you need to look at like Paul's testimony too, and people's testimony, okay? So you could have somebody's testimony where they done partook in that, where they played a part in that person's crucifixion in that city. That they have to eat from the Word of God or they will die. They will get sick and they will die, bro. You will die. A spiritual death, you're already spiritually dead from it because you did it. Now you're actually going to die. People don't understand this about Revelations. Revelations is repetitive. It happens to people. It can happen to you more than one time. That say you do convert and you make it all the way through and then you end up consuming the apple and you go back into your flesh and you get crucified in another city. It could happen. Maybe it's a one-time thing too. I don't know. I've only been through it once. But for 37 years of my life, 33 years of my life, I always believe in God. I went to church since I was younger. People knew this stuff about me, that he was righteous. And they saw me as goody two-shoes. Bruh, where I just came from, I was in the hood. Okay? I just came from the hood. I just came from the east side of Portland. Basically, there's lines there everywhere, bro. You got hoods and blocks and all sorts of stuff going on there. I had people who tried to kill me here. I went back to Portland. Everybody cool. On the lines. Everybody cool with me. I don't really understand that. This place was more wicked and sexually immoral than where I came from. And everybody's freaked out by Portland. Oh, from here? They freak out about Portland. I'm never going there. That place is dangerous. Huh? Everybody here done trying to kill everybody. They're walking around with spiritual swords trying to get token rewards. It's bad. They working for the devil out here. So I'm the one dude who's walking around, yeah, put the book in your face. Game over, bro. So what happens when you leave? If you get if your flesh gets crucified off you somewhere and you leave, this is something that's even weirder, okay? If you build a hedge, people can sit in it, all right? If you build a hedge, people can sit in it. Well, When you leave, they're left in complete darkness, bro. They have churches, which is something else that I wondered about that verse about barley and wheat. If you end up partaking in a crucifixion spiritually of somebody's flesh off of them, and they're already righteous in the eyes of God, okay, are you allowed to go to church? Because it seems like maybe that's allowed. It seems like the church is open to everybody. So it's like, well, maybe that's encouraged. It's like, yeah, go get your meal, go to church, but church ain't open every day, bruh. Online, a little bit different now. But you have to be in the book. You have to be reading from the Word. Are some people going to tell me, oh, Lone Wolf, you crazy, this and that. Yeah, I ruined this person's life and I didn't stay in the Word of God and like, oh, I'm fine, this and that. You don't know what's coming your way. Done look at human history? Have we done looked everywhere else? Are you just blind, spinning around out in the dark, not really seeing what's going on, okay? Because I seen it from my eyes, and for 37 years, I seen nothing like this in my entire life, bro. I didn't think that people were this bad until I came to a place like this, and I was like, this place is bad, bro. Y'all on the wand and broom out here. It ain't good, okay? So what I done looked at, well, the opening of the 7th seal, okay? That's where things get really bad. I heard the living creature say, come out. Saw the black horse. I'm already past that. I had a dude that cursed me that ended up in the hospital less than 12 hours after. Because God already done showed me through signs, synchronicities around me. Black horse. I kept seeing a black horse and I was like, okay, I know I'm going through this right now. God's trying, because I'm asking God, if I'm going through Revelation right now, where am I at? Black horse, black horse. Kept seeing black horse. There was a blood moon last night. And everybody was focused on Iran and this and that. Well, focus on your own life or who's going on. Did you partake in the crucifixion spiritually of somebody in your city? If you did, you're looking at the blood moon. Oh, Virgo's in Taurus and everything's backwards. And it's like, no. That's a warning sign, bro. It's a warning sign. People who are like, astrology. It's like, kind of look in front of you and see what you just partook in. Maybe you involved in that and you don't even see it because you're so possessed by the darkness staring up at the sky. When it's right in front of you. People might be like, Lone Wolf, you crazy. No. If you think that, okay. Tune into my channel or you can leave. I'm okay with that too. Don't bother me none. Alright? But you see, the 144,000 are marked for God. Well, what does that mean, bro? Does that mean that every time that Revelation passes, there's 144,000 people that are marked for God that make it out of that? People think the rapture is that God's going to take you up into the heavens and then the world's going to get set on fire. Well, let's go ahead and think about something really quick. Maybe the 144,000 are people that are marked from God that are safe from the judgment. I've been thinking about it. They are marked by angels based upon if you are righteous in the eyes of God or you are walking that line. If you're obeying and you are in obedience, then you're good. That's how I done seen it. A lot of people might be like, end of the world. And it's like, bruh, we all got nuclear weapons. Nobody's going to launch a nuke. That would seem like a very foolish thing to do. Well, because you gone too. So it's like, well, what's the point of that? Are you that resentful that you're going to launch a nuke over something like that? You got bombs and soldiers, bro. If World War III happens, it'll be non-nuclear, bro. There'll be mass invasions. There'll be a non-nuclear treaty that gets signed. There'll probably be a denuclearization before that even happens, okay? It could be the AIs up against each other. I don't know, bro. It could happen, too. One thing I didn't look at, too. What was a significant event in history that was really bad? The atom bomb. Sometimes people are idiots and they end up launching a missile. Something bad goes wrong. And we have to reflect on how homicidal and crazy that really was. And people are marked for it. For death, bro. It's bad. What I wanted to talk about, okay? When the Lamb opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. It talks about that the incense was offered with prayers of God's people on the gold altar in front of the throne. And the angel filled the gold incense container with fire from the altar and threw it on the earth. What does that mean? Well, maybe that also means that when this type of thing happens, that there is a worldwide hedge that goes bam all the way around. There's a reset in the darkness where it's like a flash of lightning, bam. Like there's something about that I thought about. Well, it's like, well, does that literally mean that the whole earth gets scorched and God's creation's gone? Well, it starts over at Adam and Eve when you take a bite of the apple and the temptation. So obviously this ain't the end of the world. People have freaked out for a long time. Revelation, World War III. Stop. Revelation is repetitive among humanity and among time, but it happened one time. I believe that what happened, that Revelations was happening possibly when Jesus was being crucified, after, before, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. When did it happen the first time that made it repetitive among humanity that is ingrained within us now, as a collective and individual, okay? So what does it mean? Because the prayers of God people go up to God, and the angel just take a whole bunch of flames and boom. Maybe that means that hedges start to set in from the spiritual work that the person did that was crucified out of their flesh. That maybe it's not on any time limit. It just goes boom, 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 boom. And it's like, well, here we go. So the 7 trumpets, bro. And what does this have to do with what happens when you leave? Okay? Well, I may be putting up a hedge right now that's setting everything up. All the darkness around me is set aflame, bro. It's how I see it. I'm eating myself some Jack in the Box late at night. And it's like, well, I've looked around, bro. And I'm like, I went from having a hedge up here and trying to protect myself from attacks to a hedge down below at my feet where it's set in. That took 3 years. That took me 3 years, bro. Why? I tried to remain as sinless as possible. I didn't smoke no pot. I even got buzzed off of wine a couple times. Why that was because the pain was like, bah! I just take a couple glasses of wine. I'm like, that's not the way to handle it. Still read the Bible when I did it. I was a little bit faded when I did read it, but I didn't sin against God. The girl that I'm with right now, no infidelity. Completely cool with you. No problem, okay? There's a lot of this, though. I'm going to stop it at this and go, what happens when you leave? Okay? Well, what happens when a narcissist ends up ruining an empath's life and destroying their whole life, and then you leave, or they leave, okay? They leave because your hedge is there's a demonic part of that, where if the narcissist leaves or the Jezebel runs from you, it's because things are about to go down, and they can see the light coming from you that they just completely destroyed you. And generally, it's not just one person when this happens. It's a whole group of people. It's a collective thing. Jesus wasn't crucified by one person. Jesus wasn't crucified by one person. So it could be this don't happen to everybody. It could be that flesh that's on the ground that all y'all just crucified, that's a curse. The devil's curses are a lot different than God's curse. God's curse is you are cursed for what you just did to this person. Look at Cain and Abel. Blood cries out from the earth. Now you bear this mark, this and that. The devil's curse is, we just did this abomination and we're going to build all this spell work and witchcraft to hide under it. Now you see why there's a thing about witchcraft in the Bible. You don't do it. You don't want nothing to do with it. You don't want to be under any curses. When something like this happens, when hedges come around and the whole world gets set up with a one-time thing, it could just be a flash. Bam! You just got hit by something that was not good. So if you don't cast anything, you in deep. Not smart. It's not smart. But when it goes down to it, people are too worried about, well, are they going to miss me when I'm gone? Who cares? They obviously don't miss you. Your flesh is on the ground. They don't miss Brad. Nobody missed Brad. Everybody hate Wolf too. Hated Brad. I hate Wolf too. But now he scares me, and I go and hide in a cave and hide from him, bro. They hide from Jesus that's in you. They hide from God. They hide from Jesus, and you're walking around with the cross. So yeah, they go run because they know what they did. It's bad. It gets bad, bro. And you go through the thick of it. You go through the thick of it. But in a normal situation, okay? Pay attention to Jesus' story. What was happening when he was leaving? There was a place, I think it was Galilee. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was somewhere else. Where he ended up leaving, and then people asked him to come back and stay a couple days. There's some people, when you leave, your absence is felt. Whether it's a sigh of relief because they don't have to hide from the light anymore, but the light's right here and they're blind walking around. It doesn't matter. Why? People's human emotions are irrelevant to you leaving. If I leave right now, who cares what everybody thinks? He caused all this trouble in this town. Well, you just crucified my flesh and God just worked through me to cause all this trouble. And it really isn't trouble. I kind of fixed a lot of stuff too. Well, if you look at, since I've been here, I done fixed a lot of stuff. People's cars too. It's weird. With certain situations. I had certain situations that came my way. Two people that were fighting, okay? About to go through a divorce. This is an example, a real example here. I came around, the woman absolutely could not stand me and lash, and just, went through all this crap. Her and her husband get along now. Or this girl had a crush on me, but I didn't care. And it made her see, oh, my husband's interested in me. It was almost like dung, like a stick. Like I hit people with sticks here, but I wasn't doing nothing. Walking around trying to stay out the way. Trying not to intentionally hit nobody, no sticks, no snake bites. I'm just here, bro. I did nothing but read the Bible and work for God. I turned a lot of ratchets and bolts, too. But you look at it, too. After that happens to you, when somebody does something like this to you, and you leave, whatever y'all got to say is irrelevant. What did Jesus say? That he wasn't really worried about the praises of people. He was worried about God. What does God think of this? Praises of people are irrelevant. I'm here to glorify my Father. So you look at that and you're like, maybe you shouldn't worry about what other people got to say about you. God happy with you? Well, you got damaged, you got beat up, or this, that, and they took you for granted, or whatever it may be. But I approve of how you operated through this. So you leave, what happens? Irrelevant. It's relevant. God has his hands in that, so you leave that in God's hands. Not in your mind or your heart. It doesn't matter. That's a weird thing, because every single person I see that is looking for validation from leaving a narcissist, well, what's their karma when I leave? That's none of y'all business, but God will give you a glimpse of it. He tells you not to, don't turn around and look. Don't turn a stone, bro. Because what's that mean if you turn a stone? Well, archetypically, you could see it as though you're going to go back into your pain, bro. Like, you're going to just be like, like it's just live, don't die. Looking back, you're just going to walk right back into death. And I just look at all this, and my flesh is on the ground. All this happened to me. This person consumed me. Well, don't turn to stone. Don't look back. When it comes to Lot, you need to follow that. Sodom and Gomorrah, what happened to his wife? Turn around and turn to stone. And it's like, don't turn to stone, bro. Get up out of there. When you get up out of there, you have to heal. What is healing from it? Well, maybe that's understanding Jesus' way of dealing with things. He just left. I got more mission to do. God's got me going here now. Okay. Like, he was worried about God versus everybody else's praise. So when he performed miracles, he wasn't worried about the person's praise to him. He was telling them what? Try not to sin anymore. Okay? Well, he responded in the wisest possible fashion that glorified the Father and not himself. He wasn't going, yeah, that was all me. No. Jesus don't do that. He don't glorify the Father. Well, and the Father wants you to accept the Son. So people can't do that. It's weird. So, narcissist just broke up with you or cheated on you with somebody else. I need to heal. I need this, I need that. What's going to happen? What's the narcissist karma? People spend years of their life online typing it into YouTube, Google, this and that. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing, because you can learn something from somebody's video that done talks about that. That they always say the narcissist karma catches up to them. Well, what is that? That's God working divine judgment in the situation. That you don't want, no way. If you go back, you're gonna get hit by the full circle and divine judgment if you go back. That's turning a stone, bro. What happens when I leave a narcissist? You know, when do they get their karma? As soon as you start living your life. Maybe God wants you to get out the way. So you were in this dynamic that's really bad and toxic. I broke away and I'm leaving, okay? If there's a full circle coming, if you turn around and come back, God might either A, full circle, there ain't no full circle right now because you're prolonging it, or I go back and I just got smacked upside the head because God just told me to leave. And I turned around and went back, got turned to stone, got smacked, bro. Getting turned to stone is a form of, you're being punished. See it that way. Archetypically, I'm being punished for going back, for looking back. So what's going to happen? Well, what's the punishment could be as simple as, now you're stuck in your anger. If I look back, I'm going to get mad. If I look back, I'm going to get angry. I don't give nothing about what happens here when I leave. This is their problem, not mine. Clearly, they have to eat from the book. Wheat and barley, day's wage, bro. You have to read the Bible all day. All day. Like, you have to convert or die. You convert or you die. That's what you did. You convert or you die. Spiritually, yes, but physically, pretty sure that there's a circle that it gets wiped out. Look at the seals and what happens. People's testimonies, bro. Sometimes it could be that only 2 people died because there was only 2 people involved. But there's other people around the scenes that went through extreme hardship and lost it all. That maybe they didn't die, they died by losing their life. Maybe they got the choice of, everything's been taken from me. I either convert or I stay dead and I can't do anything about it. Maybe you're marked with the curse of Cain. Something akin to that. Well, disobedience, mark of Cain, and what happens after that? There's a flood. And what happens? How do you survive the flood? You got to build an ark. So you got to read the book. You have to go from being the person that did it to, I have to build a boat. And this storm will ride out possibly indefinitely for me, depending on how my depth of involvement. Maybe that's me stretching it a little bit, and maybe I'm onto something, maybe I'm wrong, but it's food for thought. Okay? So when it comes down to it, think about if you're stuck in a toxic job, okay? And this happened to me a couple of times where I was fired from a job that I wasn't supposed to be fired from, and I was an asset to them for years, okay? I didn't look back. I didn't say anything. I just moved forward. And God would speak to me when I was reading the Bible. I would come across something and chirp, 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 that things fell apart. And that's all he had told me. Things fell apart. And I thought about that. And I'm like, well, when I left, nobody was trained how to do this, this, and this, because I was the person carrying the big backpack on me, trying to get people through. Department went broke. It went broke. There's nobody that you can call up that has 100% success of I'll help you. That resource and that leverage to succeed is gone. Did they get somebody else in there that could do it? Maybe. But I done heard it, chirp, chirp, that God just done told me it fell apart. That's all. I just kind of, well, think about when you're walking away from Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm not saying that my old job was sexually immoral. Maybe they were. But I'm just saying, don't look back. Turn to stone and get angry based upon what happened to me. I'm pissed that I got fired. Or I walk away and everything is just fire and brimstone behind me and I'm like, everything's okay, I'm getting out of here. And I just follow what God wanted me to do. I shook the dust off my feet at him, and I didn't even really preach the words. So that's kind of a weird way of saying it. But I kind of shook my feet at him. I was like, all right, no blood, no mud. I'm cool. No blood, no mud. I have no partaking in any damage of anybody else. Well, and there's people that had blood on their hands and had mud on their feet by how they talked about me. So you got blood. There's blood and mud. You will see this, bro. So when you leave various situations, what do? You act like Lot, and you don't look back. So you don't get angry or stuck in stone from where you were at. Imagine having to break out of that stone. Well, it says that she died. So it could be you go out into the dark because you're angry. I'm using this as an archetypical sense, not as a literal, okay? What should we look at second, okay? Well, 1 and 2. What happened when Jesus left places? Well, different things happened based upon situations. 2,000 pigs died, but he's healed this man that was basically possessed in a cemetery. He was able to go home to his family and preach about how wonderful Jesus was and what he did. So there was a positive effect on one person and a negative effect on other people. But the emotions that the people were feeling were irrelevant to Jesus. He just wanted to glorify God. So I don't really care how you all feel about that. I'll go. Bye. So he took off. Now, what else? People followed him across the lakes. He would take his boat. People would follow him because they wanted him to work miracles. Why? Well, he broke and multiplied food for people. So that was one thing that he said was you need to be working for spiritual food, not physical food. You need to build your ark. You need to physically, you need to spiritually build yourself with the Word of God. So people followed him. Some people followed him. Some people go away. Some people accept you. Some people reject you. But their feelings about how they feel about you after you leave or you go or whatever, it's irrelevant. It is the person's responsibility to deal with that. So you'll see some people that are more motivational speakers that will try and get you into the mindset of that right when you leave everything goes to crap, or right when you leave like this and that. Divine judgment could be 5 months down the road, that they done forgot that you were even there, and then this wave of stuff done happened to them. Okay, that's motivational speakers will try and boost you up by reaffirming that this is going to happen, just don't look back. And well, maybe that's something that you need to understand, is that if you were a pillar in the light, that God had made you this pillar in the light, and people did all this to you, whether you were crucified in your town or not, that if you left, well, what happens? Well, look at Sodom and Gomorrah. All the immorality and darkness. Say you took sexual immorality as akin to darkness, okay? All the darkness that you just walked away from with your lamp at your head and you walked away, just fire and brimstone, bro. People, and why would people follow you? Well, because you have the light with you. People want to stay warm. They don't want to do the work. They want to come find you. That could happen to me. I leave here and they're like, I got to find that guy. Just lose their mind. Probably not, because nobody likes me here. That's fine too. Nobody likes me here, bro. I'm okay with that. You don't like me here? Call up the mayor and cry. I don't know, but I tell you, read the Word of God, bro. You need to get wise. You need to get wise. If you're not wise, well, dude, you're done. You have no lamp, no oil in it, bro. Well, you walk around blind, spinning around in circles out in the dark, smacking tambourines or doing whatever you're doing, bro. Playing guitar, who knows? It's really odd. Like, the one thing that I think that people are going to want is people will want me to come back here so they can torture me again. That's what I think people are going to want from me in this city. Once I leave, there's nobody from the light to torture. Oh, sure, there's plenty of people. You just chose to sacrifice me here. And that's the thing, is if I were to come back here, the only thing I would be reminded of is my flesh on the ground and you just crucified me. So it's one of those, like, I can't just come back and be like, hunky-dory, this is awesome. It's like, no, dude, like, you all done did this to me here. So I don't come back here going, oh, I'm going to visit again. It's like, I'm coming back to a very scarring and dark place that I was in. That people did some cruel and unusual things and cast. There's people on the dark web here that did stuff to me that I was like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. You gotta be kidding me, okay? So a lot of what I have to say about it, when you leave, don't look back, and who cares what people feel? You already know fire and brimstone's behind you, bro. And it's chasing you if you don't get out of there. So when God removes you from a situation, you leave, you don't look back, and if their feelings, they don't glorify God. So who cares? Who cares? Why? We're all here for what? Average lifespan of 75 years? Let's just say that. So, your 75 years, you're going to care about what other people thought when you left? You're still emotionally attached to it. Which, what does that come down to? Your state of mind and your mode of being is jacked up. You got to figure that one out. For me, my state of mind is I don't really care what anybody has to think or say, or if they cry their eyes out at night, or whatever or if they just beat up punching bags because they're pissed that I got away and I actually didn't get murdered. I don't know. But, I mean, that's your pain and problems. You have a whole rubber band ball of crap that you have to deal with. I know that once I leave. Why? Well, because I don't have a rubber band ball full of crap. I'm just walking around, I'm like, I already know. I did what was right by God. So God's looking at me going, let's go. Time to get out of here, bro. And I've been preaching that for a little bit, and I already know what's coming. So he's going to, here to here. Just go here for a while. It might be that it happens all over again. It could be. People try and crucify me again, but it's like, I will take the cross in the book, and I will walk you down. I will walk you down. You'll have 4 horses after you, and it will happen again. If it happens a second time. It could be that they can't do it. Like, I'm just in the spirit. Like, I already crucified my flesh. What are you going to crucify off of me? The fact that I just ate Jack in the Box? I'm just saying, like, is that, like, I get cursed because I ate Jack? No. Like, you already done did it to me. I'm in the spirit. I'm walking in the spirit. You're not going to see me wander on off. Will my hedge go down? Probably not. Why? Because look at how wicked people are, bro. I had demons casted on me and stuff casted at me here. I had demonic transmissions opened over hexes and curses that the whole damn town, the whole city was in on it. People from places that I went, that God brought me here. He picked me up like a chess piece. Go here, go here, go here. Let's rid of all the wicked. Time to go. You're in your spirit. Let's go do it again. Drag you over here, there. Break a curse or whatever he wants you to do, or whatever he asks you, even to preach to people. All these people attacked you. I preach the word of God, and people, it's like acid on the wicked, bro. But it's something that's like, well, sometimes you preach the word of God to people, and it pulls their spirit out of their flesh, and they just willingly take it off of them. Something clicks. Sometimes. Here, I wouldn't be surprised if everybody died here, bro. Just the severity of things that happened to me here, I would not be surprised if people literally dropped and died here after I left. I would not be surprised, okay? This place is probably the weirdest, darkest, strangest places I've ever been on earth, bro. And I'm telling you, I despise this more than my hometown. And I despised my hometown pretty well. But this one takes the cake, bro. Portland, loved it. I had no problems in Portland, bro. I met some of the, like, hardest hood people in Portland. Came across them and shook hands with them, or at least saw them eye to eye. Not a problem. Ain't nobody checking me randomly and they cast demons and stuff on you. And there's a mix of, that's protest town. What is going on? This place here is like the cesspool. I was here for a reason, bro. And I think that God was like, well, you just walked 37 years through your life, 33 years of your life, 30 years of your life when I got here. They're going to crucify him here just so everybody that's wicked is gone, bro. Like, he just, like, we getting rid of a ton of people. And I'm like, well, I don't know, but okay. Like, I'm already a good dude, already believe in Jesus. But, boom, out my flesh. Like, I went through a lot here, dude. I went through a lot here that was like, I struggled with forgiveness for a long time. So one thing that you need to do when you leave, what happens when you leave? Well, what happens is what you do. Do you forgive people? Yeah, you leave and you forgive people. What else do you do when you leave? You don't look back. What else do you do when you leave? Your thoughts, state of mind, and mode of being is focused on honoring your Father, not you. You're too worried about the praises of the negative and positive comments from somebody else on you, when as long as I glorify God, I'm up out of here. You're going to call me this, go ahead and make it worse. You're going to get right upside the head, bro, and I'm way out here. I don't even know what happened. Afterlife, God, just bring it here. Watch this videotape real quick. Look what happened to this dude. Wham! And it's like, well, because he said this about you. And so a lot of times God will let you see it while you're still here. Then it comes around full circle. This person said something about you. They got beat up. Why? Because they said it about you and people weren't happy about it. They didn't even know who you was, but what they said was so terrible that it pissed other people off. They got beat up. I watched stuff like that happen here, bro, where people got beat. The whole city came unfolded. The whole city. The last 3 weeks, I've seen nothing but police cars, bro. All over the strips, all over Southwest, Center, all over the place. Blocking roads off. Somebody got shot, this and that. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But I do know one thing. When I first moved here, I didn't see no cops. Nobody pulled over. I saw police cruisers, but they wasn't really doing that much. They circling like vultures, tearing this place up. Because they cleaning up. People got exposed, bro. Think about it. That mark is on you, bro. So when a police officer done pull by you and sees that mark on you that somebody got crucified in this town, and you've got this mark on you that God's marked his people and have marked the other people too. Those are the people that you got to walk the line and you gone. It ain't good. So I'm being metaphorically speaking. You get pulled over, he's got a gun under his seat. Unregistered weapon. No insurance. No nothing. Like, you done. It's like, I'm just kind of here, bro. And that's the thing is, like, these people could have, like, if they hated me that much here, when I was here, I didn't really start going through this till the first, like, maybe year or two that I was here, okay? And if they wanted me to leave bad enough, you could just pay me, or why don't you go back to my hometown and tell that fool to give me my inheritance? That's all you had to do. You could have just asked me to leave. You could have asked me to leave. Until next time, no wolf. Peace out, yo.